We're good.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerable. We have a very special guest today.
Where?
Right here, next to me. To my right. One of Joel's
On the
friend.
right? Or
On my right.
oh, on your right.
On
Okay.
my, and your right. I mean, you got a different right. And so Rick Busse, one of probably the most well-known in Ohio taxidermist. I mean, if somebody says a name, who do you take your deer to? What's the name that always comes out? Rick Busse. I mean, it's always.
I didn't know that.
And I'm not an exaggeration. I think like when I've heard about people, everybody always, who do you take your, what, like everybody always asks an opinion. It's always Rick Busse if you want the best. And then there's the list below.
Well,
I mean, I think that's what I'm not blowing smoke,
Hey,
Chris.
well, listen,
that's true. That's true.
The best would never come out of my mouth because I've known the best, I've seen the best, I've worked with the best. And, I put out a good product and good service like any business, right? That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Product and service.
What's the, can you give us the background? Can you give us the history?
The history.
Where'd you start?
Give it, like, how did it all happen? Or?
Gosh. Well, yeah, I'll just go back to this. I have a twin brother, Ron.
Yep.
And we grew up. Well, he was into guns and hunting before I was at a very young age, 8, 9.
He was into it before you?
Before me.
Yep.
Before me. He's a gun guru.
He is.
He just loves guns, and he always liked to go hunting, and I did too. I liked music too. I have an older brother who was very musically inclined, and I liked that part of it too.
I didn't know you had an older brother.
Yeah, Dan. And anyway, he liked music, and Ron liked hunting and guns, and I did both kind of. And anyway, we just started squirrel hunting.
Did you live in town?
We lived in town.
In town.
Right.
Sydney.
Oh, Mom would have to take us to the woods and drop us off to go squirrel hunting.
This is in Sydney.
In Sydney.
God, wherever, I guess, Sydney, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you lived in Sydney. You went to Sydney High School?
Actually, I graduated from Troy.
Okay.
Graduated from Troy. I did not know that.
And that's another long story. But anyway, Ron kind of turned me on to the guns and hunting thing. And back then, you got to remember, where's the deer?
Yeah.
You didn't see
We
a
talked
deer.
about that. Where's the deer?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can remember when someone saw a deer track. So far I go back. You saw a deer track. Call the newspaper.
Right. Really?
Hey, there's a deer.
That was
Is that a deer track?
70s.
70s.
Early 70s.
Yeah.
Early 70s.
70s.
Early
Yeah.
70s. And we were, this is all about small game hunting back then.
Yeah.
Rabbit.
Rabbits.
I'm going to pull this over just a little bit, Rick. That's okay.
Rabbits and squirrels.
Rabbits and squirrels. And
gosh, I missed that.
that's what we did. We just couldn't wait. And we knew we had friends, older friends that took us rabbit hunting. And of course,
So was there like hunter safety?
Oh, God. Yeah, sure.
Hunter safety was your.
That's like you see the post where people going on their vacations in the station wagons and no kids have on their
Right.
seat belts.
Parents
or
are chain
nothing.
smoking cigarettes with the windows
That
up.
was in a day when, in high school days, it was nothing to have your shotgun in the back of your car
Right.
and in bed of your,
I had-
in the window of your pickup, and you could go to school.
I had a gun
'Cause you-
rack with guns in the parking lot
I
in
mean,
the school.
I was just having this
100%.
conversation with Isaac Riker at Country Concert. I mean, up until probably he graduated, which was that we were kind of taking our guns to school at that time. And then that's when things started getting weird and we weren't allowed to do that.
Right. Real quick, I remember in the 8th grade, all right, we had a class, forget what it was. The topic was you had to go in front of the class and describe to the class how to do something. So I came in with my grocery bag, and inside I had a single shot 410 shotgun.
No, you didn't.
And I
in the
assembled
8th grade.
I assembled it in front of the class.
Everybody was amazed, probably loved it.
It was just a single shot takedown, 3 pieces.
And
then I disassembled it and put it away.
And the sheriff on duty in the school didn't rush in and tackle you.
Of course not. But that's how times change.
Yeah,
Right.
It's crazy.
Now there's a sheriff on duty
now-
at every school.
Yeah.
Now you'll be surrounded by SWAT.
Yeah, absolutely.
You took the gun in for 8th grade
Nobody thought anything about
and
it.
assembled it.
It was a 410 single shot shotgun. I took it apart and
That's
put
cool.
it back together in front of the class and had to explain what I was doing and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I remember.
So,
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
so then, you get into hunting with your brother, and then, then kind of what happens or how does it transition? And
Well, we hunted and trapped. We loved to trap.
Same here, man.
Man, gosh,
Love to trap.
you couldn't even sleep at night because
No.
you just like, what am I going to
It
get?
was like Christmas every night.
Right.
Yeah.
What are we going to get? What are we going to get? Of course, there wasn't any deer around, and then the deer start showing up, and I can't really remember exactly what happened, but I go, wow, look at the white-tailed deer, really, right here, you know? And that was the seed, I guess.
Yeah.
That just started that fascination and passion for white-tailed deer.
And then you started hunting deer, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then
Oh my gosh, this goes back before. I'm going to show my age, but this before there was wheels on a bow. Okay.
but yeah, you're using like just
But
the
we have a recurve.
yeah.
A recurve bow.
Before the old bear whitetail
And the bear whitetail came out with wheels on it.
with wheels on it
And you pull that
and
back.
cables and
Right, cables and stuff. And we just, we eat up with it.
Yeah.
You know, we just couldn't. I mean, this is not going to be fair
Yeah.
to the deer. This is going to be easy.
Right.
Right? That was our mentality at the
but
time.
there
you know?
weren't really tree stands. Were there? There
Maybe
really
wooden
Baker.
Do you remember I was just going to say,
Baker
the
tree
Baker
stands.
climbers.
That was it.
The climbers.
Yeah.
You get about 10 feet up and then you
The first tree stand was a climbing tree stand.
It was a
I mean,
Baker.
one of the first.
Baker.
a climber
And
tree
then
stand.
it was kind of the LEM lock-ons. The LEM
Right, the lock-ons,
lock-on
right.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, other than that,
a safety harness? Come on.
Yeah.
maybe the ones around your waist or
Right.
something.
No,
or,
it's a wonder we're still all alive.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't think about it. It just
Mine
something
was
we
just
did.
nails in the tree and boards.
Yeah.
That
Sure.
was my first
That's how
attempt
we
in
did it.
the air.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I mean, I was the same way. It was trapping, driving around, checking the traps early in the morning, and just started seeing big deer everywhere. I mean, right? I mean, you would run traps and start seeing deer.
This is maybe I'm not a trapper. This is a stupid question, but did deers ever get caught in snares or anything like that? Did you ever?
It
have
was
a
no
deer?
snare back in the
Right,
day.
just to say, we never had snares.
No,
okay.
no
It's all
snare.
leg hold stuff.
Yeah, my
And I'm sure-
last couple years was snares.
Okay.
Other than that, it
I'm
was
sure a
leg
deer
holds.
stepped on a trap and
Yeah,
then it would
probably.
obviously pull out of a leg hold, but
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So when did you do what? Can you remember how many years ago you did your very first? Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Did you see like there was a need for this, or because I feel like any taxidermist is artistic, right?
I'll tell you, well, we'll get into that, but I remember in Tip City, we were squirrel hunting, my brother and I. It's like we wanted to get a squirrel and get that thing stuffed. That's what we wanted to get done. There was
So you wanted to get the squirrel stuff.
Well, I just wanted to get a squirrel stuffed.
And what
or
did
maybe
you-
a
what did
fish
you-
mounted too.
And did you know somebody that did that?
There was a guy in Tip City, Ohio. His name was Fred Allen. He was mostly a marine taxidermist, did a lot of fish, but he would do mammals too. And I remember, and I can't tell you the date, gosh, well, the year. I mean, it had to be late 70s. I don't know, or mid 70s. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But I remember going into that studio, and it wasn't like a foul odor. It was just the smell of paste and glue and chemicals, I guess, you know. And I remember looking around, and he had these small mammals mounted, and I said, I'm going to bring this dude a squirrel because I want to see how this thing, the whole thing.
How it's done? You want to know how it's done?
It just, I remember walking into it the first time. I said, wow, that's pretty cool. But like I say, he did mostly fish. And I remember he was painting a largemouth bass with an airbrush at the time. And he had several on the wall that he'd done. And I said, he's not only going to do a squirrel, he's going to do a fish for me too. Because, you know.
You fished.
We fished. Heck yeah, we bass ponds. I'm kidding. Yeah, my dream was to get a 4-pound largemouth. Get it mounted. You know?
Yeah.
But,
did you ever get it?
I did.
Yeah. Cool.
I did.
Did you back in the day? Did you hunt where Ron hunts to this day?
To this,
Back in the day, you know, that off of I-75 there.
do we hunt there?
I mean, was that one of the properties?
No. This was
okay.
This was way before then.
Way
Man, we're going.
Oh,
This is no, even before then. Holy mackerel! But anyway, that was kind of the spark.
where
The
where
intriguement.
taxidermy was introduced.
It was taxidermy, and man, I was always fascinated by it. I remember, this is no kidding. I think like there was a deer season, but I remember in his little cooler area, I peeked in there, and there was a deer from Indiana laying there on the floor. It was caped out, but the head wasn't skinned out. It was just laying there, you know, the head and antler. And this thing was the most monstrous thing I ever saw. I
Deer
said,
from
Fred,
Indiana.
and I said, Fred, it's just a deer from Indiana. And I remember it being a big non-typical with a bunch of points everywhere. Of course, I didn't know anything much about antlers at the time.
Say, what was it actually?
Yeah, but
it was-
I can kind of had the visual on it. I still have it. Wow, that thing is huge. Back then, I saw the work, and it was, for the time, it was okay. It was fine. It was acceptable.
Yeah.
That's
but,
funny. You think he remembers the work,
Yeah.
or he's
it was
already
just-
breaking down
well-
the guy's work.
Well, Ron and a friend went to Pennsylvania rifle hunting, and he shot a 6-pointer. Just
That's
just
where
a
everybody
basket.
around here went.
That's where they went. They went
to
rifle hunting in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. My
And
dad.
he brought back
yep.
a little basket 6-0, and had Fred mount it for him. And we couldn't wait to go get that thing to see what it looked like. And at the time, it was, that's his deer, so it's pretty cool.
So I mean, when did taxidermy become like a thing? Like, I mean, was it in that 60s, 70s era? Was it like
have
where you
nothing?
started?
I don't hear you.
Pause. He doesn't hear us.
Oh shoot! You were hearing us though, right?
I was. Just okay, now it's on.
Now it's
I
on.
got you, yeah. I'm good.
That just had to be a connection.
Everybody's good. I might have kicked it.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
So, going back to that, were you starting to see things in people's houses in the 60s and 70s, or I mean,
Yeah.
it's
No,
80s?
it still hadn't, hadn't.
I mean, when I shot that deer, that was the first time I probably even thought about a taxidermist.
Yeah.
And
I
that,
would say.
Yeah.
and just so everybody knows, that was your first deer ever done, correct?
First deer I ever mounted.
Rick did the deer, and what?
And I do not know what led me to him and Sydney.
You probably
whether
saw
he,
back then. I would go around when I was starting, way back in the early '80s when I was starting my business. I would go to all the little sport shops around the lakes, and I'd make these hand posters. And I nothing printed professionally. I just did it with my, print out taxidermy here, quality craftsmanship, blah,
like
blah,
an
blah.
Amish sign.
It wasn't that good.
It wasn't that good.
No, but I'd go around, leave my little business cards, around, and that's kind of
That's cool.
that's when I started to get
So
the interest in it. But really, well, I didn't know really how to do it too much. It's not like today. What can't you learn on YouTube?
Right.
I mean,
so back up, and
Okay.
so you graduated from high school,
I did.
and then what transpired
Well,
towards the
that
taxidermy?
goes. Well, I told you about the music thing.
Yep,
I
knew that.
I was in a band in high school.
was a
I
drummer.
played the drums.
He was a drummer.
Loved my drums. God,
Yep.
that came from my dad's side. He was he
Musical.
encouraged us to be
Yep.
go into music. And Dan he was a guitar player. Anyway, so after high school, we were pretty successful in the music business at
Okay.
the
You were
time.
like playing in local places.
Local
and-
places would get started. As a matter of fact, man, I mean, it was my brother and I and 2 other people, and we started getting pretty good. I mean, pretty successful, man. We did television and
Okay. What was the name of
So if
the?
there was all the
Busse
social,
Brothers.
the
Busse
Busse
Bro-
Brothers.
Busse Brothers.
Busse Brothers.
So if there was all the social media like today, you'd be blowing it up back then.
I mean, like I say, it's just like if today would have been available back then, who knows?
I know.
How it would have
Yeah.
ended up
Yeah.
because I have a passion for my music too, and I'd still play about every day. As a matter of fact, I'm better now than I ever was because of the education is ridiculous.
You still play your drums every day?
Well, almost.
Yeah,
If I
that's
get
cool.
a chance. I can't do deer all day. But anyway.
Yeah.
Bust out a little Tommy Lee on the drums, and yeah.
But yeah. But if we had that available back then, I'm cutting out a little bit. I'm out. Now I'm in. But anyway.
Oh, Joel, I think you're stepping. Hold on.
What could be me.
Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I should have tucked these up in a way.
You good?
I'm hearing you. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. That was probably me.
I think we were stepping on them and
Yeah.
spinning them. It's all good. Okay. All right.
But
sorry.
but yeah, we were successful, man. We were playing. We got some local gigs, and we got we were doing Cincinnati television shows at the time.
Did you have groupies and girls
Yeah,
and stuff? Huh?
No, never. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you guys don't remember Bob Braun show? John,
I've heard, yes, the Bob Braun
we
show.
did him twice.
Are you kidding
Cincinnati,
me?
no.
What was the Bob Braun show?
It was
Bob Braun 50/50 Club out of Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
like nightclub in Cincinnati.
No, it was a daily show.
It was
Oh.
a daily show like the Donahue show or
Yeah, but it was a local out of Cincinnati.
Okay.
Bob Braun's 50/50 Club.
Gotcha. And
Yeah,
so
and then Joel, you probably don't remember Johnny Walker out of Dayton. He had a daily show too.
Yes.
We did him several
Yeah,
times.
Johnny Walker.
I remember the
WKRP in Cincinnati.
the first time we did Bob Braun,
I did not know this.
the surprise guest, the mystery guest was Johnny Bench.
No way.
Yeah, Johnny Bench was when I met him that day.
I don't know who Johnny Bench is.
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
Are
I
you
I
shitting
really
me?
don't. Chris, do you know who Johnny Bench is?
I don't know who any.
Yeah, you
He
have
was
no
the
idea.
catcher of the Big Red Machine
Hall
when they
of-
won all the
Hall of
World
Famer.
Series.
Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Hall of Famer.
I know
I
that
should
one
tell
from
you
video
baseball
games.
stories because my dad was a music and sports, and particularly baseball. He coached baseball his whole life.
WLW.
He
Do you
was
listen to
a-
every game?
He was a he was a Reds fan. He was a Reds. I can tell you some baseball stories where you wouldn't believe some of the stuff he did. My dad loved the racetrack. I'll tell you real quick. My dad
Yeah.
loved the racetrack. He'd take us down to Lebanon, Ohio, just
Yep.
to watch the Salkies. 64. I was a little kid, believe me.
You went to the racetrack.
Dad said, "Let's go watch it," because he liked those.
Did you go to Shady Bowl Speedway back then?
No. No, but we're at the betting windows, right? And we're all standing, big crowd standing around. He grabs me. He goes, "Rick, right there at the window, Pete Rose."
Oh, no way.
Baloney.
Yeah. So Dad didn't care. He would just go up to him. He takes my brother Ron was with me too, and
So we're linking Pete Rose to betting back in the 60s.
he goes, "Pete," he says, and this is no kidding, "Pete, will you sign my program? You got Pete Rose autograph on a racing
Oh,
program."
that's cool. That's awesome. Do you still have that?
And this was like in
My
the
dad,
60s?
64. He was a rookie.
Oh, my
He was a rookie.
gosh.
You're kidding.
No, he was a rookie.
Wow.
Just coming up.
Do you have that? Do you still have it?
Well, Dad had it. He lost it.
You lost it. Gosh.
But he did sign a racing program for us. At the time, I thought, okay, well, he's a
Yeah, who's
baseball
Pete
player.
Rose?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pete Rose.
yeah.
Nobody knew what, he was a up and coming rookie, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
People,
awesome.
Of course, Dad recognized him because he was a scout for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah.
Your dad was?
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's good stuff right
Dude,
there.
I could tell you some stories. Real quick. You want to hear a real quick one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Real quick. You don't know, you probably don't remember a pitcher by the name of Jim Maloney from the Reds.
I do not.
Okay, 64.
Yep.
Dad drug us down to Crosley Field. Remember Crosley
Crosley,
Field?
that was before
Riverfront.
Yep.
Before Riverfront. He takes, let's go down and watch the Reds and down at Crosley. So we're down there watching. I watched Jim Maloney pitch a no-hitter and lose the game in the 10th.
In the 10th.
In the
Did
10th.
the other team throw a no-hitter?
It was a shutout.
A shutout?
A shutout. It was 0-0. Goes to the top of the 10th, and back then pitchers pitched
You watched a
150
no-hitter
pitches.
and lose.
Maloney goes to the top top of the 10th.
And he's still pitching?
Pitching the, of course. Hell, they throw 200
I
pitches
know.
back then.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
pitchers. So Jim, and I don't know why I remember that. Cleon Jones for the New York Mets. I'm 8 years old, dude. 7 or 8 years old. And Cleon Jones comes to the top of the 10th, and Maloney's still pitching. He hits it. I remember watching that ball. Clears the center field fence, had the yellow stripe around the wall, and it went over the yellow stripe. I said, "Dad, is that a home run?" He goes, "Yeah, it's a home run." Reds come up, don't score at the bottom. They lose 1-0.
1-0.
man.
He pitched a 9-inning no-hitter.
No-hitter.
Gave up 1 run in the 10th.
Jeez.
Lost the game.
My God. That has to be like some sort of a, I mean,
That's, yeah.
some
Get
sort of a
this,
record.
2 starts later, Jim Maloney's pitching against the Cubs. Pitches a 10-inning, 160-pitch no-hitter.
Oh, my God.
two games later.
Pitches a no-hitter and wins it in the 10th.
That's wild.
But he walked 8 that day, but no hits.
Yeah.
God, now they're
I won't even
80,
tell you the
90
Mickey Mantle
pitches
story.
and they're-
Maybe next time we'll get into the Mickey Mantle story, you wouldn't blow your mind.
Yeah.
Crazy. But anyway, we're talking about deer.
No, we're
are.
good. Yeah, we're having fun.
That's good stuff
We're
right
having
there.
fun. So the
we were at taxidermy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So high school.
Band.
So yes.
I was on the
The
road
band, so
from,
what-
from 76 to 85.
76 to 85.
I was playing.
Band and playing.
I was playing music
Wow.
5 or 6 nights a
And
week.
doing well.
Touring the whole Midwest. We played 5 and 6 nights a week. We went about as far east in Iowa as you can go, and all the way east to New Jersey.
And then
We played every night. Our longest stint, we were gone 16 weeks at one time.
I mean, so you guys, I mean, you were not only getting famous, you were also being very successful.
Well, we were successful enough to,
Yeah.
make a living.
make a
You
living,
know, and
sure.
back then, I mean, I thought it was fantastic money at the time, you know.
Did you
Right.
live in a van down by the river?
Dude, I tell you, it was so good.
Yeah. Where did you sleep? What did you do?
Well, they put us up in hotels.
Oh, they
put you
did?
up in
yeah,
hotels and
yeah.
stuff.
See, back then you played
You
the
didn't have a
circuit.
Prevost bus or anything?
Oh, no. The rooms you would play, they would accommodate your rooms.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was all
that's-
part of the contract.
Part of the contract and
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have an agent?
Absolutely.
You did?
Bill
That's
Greer.
so cool.
You had
What was
an
his name?
agent and everything.
His name was Bill Greer out of, actually, he was a vaudevillian kind of a dude. He was from Vegas.
Did he ever, like, was he repping anybody else at the time?
He
that
had,
you-
yeah, he did it. So I can't remember
He
who.
said some other people.
Real quick,
That's cool.
we were playing the Holiday Inn in just Troy.
Yep.
Playing the Holiday Inn in Troy. And the group that followed us into the Holiday Inn in Troy was a group by the name of and I don't know how I remember this, a group by the name of the Garfin Gathering. That was their name. It was a trio.
Garfin Gathering.
Because the main guy's last name was Garfin.
Okay.
They had a lead singer, and we watched her several times sing in the lounge there at the Troy Holiday Inn. Do you know what her name was?
What?
Linda Carter, Wonder Woman.
Really?
Yeah. I met her before she became famous.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nuh-uh. That's what she did before she was.
She was a singer.
They
Yeah,
probably don't
I
even
do.
know who Linda Carter
I do.
is. You
I
do?
do. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't know
Absolutely.
who Johnny Bench is, but you know who Linda Carter
Sorry.
is. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm impressing this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a
Joel,
huge.
This guy's impressed.
Yeah, I'm not a huge baseball guy. That's
Okay. Well,
never
that's
been
all
a-
right.
Yeah.
That's okay. But
I
anyway.
mean, don't
It's just-
follow the Reds because it'll tear your heart apart.
Oh my
let me
God!
tell
They did
ya.
one today, though.
They did. I mean, I
Ladola-
stopped in. Ladola was winning 1-0 in the 4th or 5th inning when I stopped in for lunch.
His first complete game.
Ladola pitched a complete game.
4-hitter, nine innings.
So there was 2 hits when I stopped by. So we only gave up 2
5 to
more
nothing.
hits.
Yeah, they scored late, but the whole game he pitched 1-0 up until the 8th inning.
So I mean, I like listening to. Sorry, this
No,
is
no,
more
you're good.
baseball.
No, go, do it.
The guy who does the radio broadcast on FanDuel, he was a pitcher for the Reds, and basically he just breaks down today's pitching. And I mean, so when he was a pitcher, he could locate his fastball right where he wanted, but the difference with a major leaguer, you have to be able to locate your breaking stuff right where you want it. And they told him you had to locate, and he's like, I just throw my breaking balls. They just land where they land, So
Yeah.
basically, in today's baseball, if it lands in this square, it's being crushed.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so
Yeah.
so basically you have to have command of your breaking stuff and where it lands, and yeah.
Okay, well, we're talking about baseball. Real quick, I'm going to lay this on you real quick, and we won't have to ever talk about another baseball story. ever
Okay.
Again. This is going to be it. Maybe. But anyway,
Maybe. He said
my dad, of course, you know about him. He told me a story once about Mickey Mantle. Okay, he said this is a true story. Mickey Mantle, you know him.
I know
right?
Mickey
Okay,
Mantle,
Mickey
yeah,
Mantle.
yeah,
Hall
I
of
know
Fame,
Mickey, yeah, yeah.
unbelievable, New York Yankees. So he
Center
was
fielder?
center fielder, switch hitter.
Yeah, switch hitter.
600, I don't know, 550, 60 home runs, whatever it is, in his career. Anyway, it was late in Mickey's career, and they're playing a game against Baltimore, okay? It's late in his career, and New York is way ahead, like mid to later in the game. And Baltimore has this, and I can't tell you his name, but he was just called up from the minors for Baltimore. So Yankees got the bases loaded, like 6th or 7th inning, and Mickey Mantle's up. The manager at the time calls this rookie pitcher making his major league debut to come in and pitch
To Mickey
to Mickey Mantle with the
Bases
bases loaded.
loaded.
Well, this kid he just thought Mickey that was his idol. He's idolized him, his hero. So he comes into the game, he says, I can't believe I'm pitching to Mickey Mantle in my major league debut. So he comes to the mound, 2 outs, and he strikes Mickey Mantle out on 3 pitches.
No way.
Yeah. He strikes him out on
Mickey
3
Mantle.
pitches.
Mickey
on
Mantle
3
didn't
pitches.
like him after
Strike
that.
3 was swinging and missed it. So the kid is like beside himself. I can't believe it. And he's just like, oh my gosh, I struck out my hero. So they go back to and he wants the ball, right? So he has the ball, and he very graciously sends the ball over to the Yankee dugout and just politely, graciously, Mickey, would you please sign this baseball for me? It means a lot to me. Well, Mantle said, sure, kid, why not? I'm a good sport. Struck me out, sends it back to him. The kid's got a memento for the rest of his life, right? Later in the game, same pitcher, Mantle comes up again. Mantle hits a 500-foot home run off of him. Yeah.
And he'd already signed the ball for the kid.
No, well, here, this is a different baseball. Now, obviously, yeah. But this time,
And he
Mantle,
hits a 500-foot home run.
So he signed the ball and then hit a 500.
yeah, but not the same ball, obviously.
Yeah, not the same
but
ball.
the
Right,
same
right.
game and the same.
So Mantle, if you knew anything about Mickey Mantle, he was a character, right? So he sends a message over to the visiting pitcher after the inning, and he says, "Tell the pitcher there, I'll sign that one too if they can find it."
That's awesome. I'll sign that one if they can find it.
I like that.
100-foot home run. Holy crap.
So that's just,
Yeah.
Dad would always tell me that.
He was
Right.
a character, so they
He
said.
was a character. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did the band in '85? Did you guys just stop, or were you doing?
Got tired of the road.
Got tired of the road.
And we were trapping back then too. I mean, we was in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Ron and his buddy, we were on a trap line. And I think right before we left, I helped him set this trap.
Because Ron was not in the band, correct?
No, Ron was
Yeah.
not in the band.
So
He was-
Ron's
he
at
was-
home sending trapping pictures. Or
Well,
no, there was no cell
no.
phone
There is
back
no
then.
cell
Sorry,
phone.
Yeah, he
never
was
mind.
texting me pictures,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, sure. Anyway, that morning they caught a gray fox, and I was losing my mind. I want to go back and go trapping. Blah blah. So anyway,
It's a gray fox.
where are they? They're
Jeez.
gone. The first I caught more grays at the time than reds.
Yeah.
But of course I didn't catch many reds, but I caught a few. But anyway, I just got tired of the
I didn't know that.
They're beautiful.
gray fox are beautiful.
You'll have to. We'll have to make a note and pull up a gray
picture.
fox.
Yeah. But I don't know. We spent a lot of time on the road, and then Dan and I had some differences, and he wanted to do this and this and that, and blah blah blah. So
So he was wanting to take it big time, and
yeah. So I came home, got a real job, messed around, but I had this thing for taxidermy. I just wanted to try it, and I remember 1980. This would be 84. Was it 84?
I was a junior.
1982.
82.
In 82, that'd be 1982, not 18.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1982.
So, American Institute of Taxidermy, salt in the back of it, right?
I've heard of that. Yep.
Yeah, so
that was the place.
Janesville, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And I knew another local kid that went there. I talked to him a few times. I went there. It was a 3-month school. Man, I kind of like to do that. And so I didn't really have the money for it. It's a lot of money for me at the time.
Yep.
Didn't really have the money, but they did have a home course where you would order the programs, whatever you wanted to do.
Yep.
So I would order this how to mount a squirrel.
Yeah.
And they would send you'd buy this program, they send you a viewfinder and a tape and a cassette. Remember the cassette player?
Cassette tape.
Yeah.
Cassettes.
It wasn't an 8-track, a cassette.
A cassette. Because you would have a cassette recorder, right? You
Yep.
could play music on your cassette recorder. But you had this little viewfinder and a film strip. It was step by step by step. Okay, the first thing you do is this and that, and then you hear a beep on the tape recorder, and then you'd advance the picture.
Yep.
Like, can you imagine that today? But anyway, I did this squirrel program.
Real quick. I'm guessing it's a still picture,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
So you're
Was it a
listening.
kaleidoscope or a?
It's this little thing, this little roll of film, and then you just.
Is it projecting?
No.
or-
You look through a
You're
viewfinder.
looking. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you're
you're
looking.
listening, and they got an image
Right.
that you can see. Okay.
Step by
So it's
step by
legitimately
step by
a
step.
kaleidoscope thing.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
kind of like that. That's how I started. Well, I'll tell you where. At the time, I was living in a. I thought how bad I wanted to do it or try this, and I was working an odd job at a Hobart place. Blah blah blah.
Hobart and Troy.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I lived in a double house, a double apartment, not a house.
Yeah.
And remember probably don't remember, but we had a bifold inside the house, a bifold closet where you would put your washer and dryer.
Yeah,
right?
yep,
And that's
yep.
where the washer and dryer. Well, I didn't have a washer and dryer. That's where my first workbench was. I built a little workbench right there, and that's where I would learn it,
That's where you're skinning your squirrels.
skinning my squirrels. And I bought the fish too. I bought the fish program too because I wanted to do.
A fish.
I wanted to learn how to do a fish. But I remember doing the squirrel step by step, and at the time, yeah, this is pretty cool, And the last thing you did on that mount was you get these little black bubble eyes, glass eyes,
Yep.
And that'd be the last thing. And then you would just kind of insert it into the clay around the. Anyway, I said, dang, that looks kind of real. remember that. That looks kind of real. And so kind of then it just,
So you had to be a little artistic
Yes.
to even take on this.
It's an
I
art.
mean, you had to be.
It's an art.
well, as a matter of fact, I always was a pretty good artist.
Yeah.
I could always draw and paint pretty good, but that's, taxidermy is,
Because I mean, there aren't a whole lot of people that's going to get this kit in the mail and it
Right.
work out for
No.
them and
Yeah,
work out for them.
Yeah. But anyway, after doing this, I just said, man, this is just like slow motion. So I think I got the fish thing and I did a few bass. And back then we had to make the bodies. You couldn't order
it wasn't the-
styrofoam body.
Okay.
We just make them.
You had a block of foam and you literally had to
You'd get a block of carving foam or make it out of Excelsior and a piece of cardboard.
Wow.
And shape it, take your measurement, and God.
Wow,
And you
that
were
sounds-
actually skinning the fish out
Actually,
and the
oh,
fish was
absolutely.
going.
Skid, yeah,
This
huge,
wasn't
huge
like
skid.
a replica.
No.
type.
Back then, replicas were junk.
Right.
I mean, they looked like painted plaster.
Yeah.
They looked like, what the
Right.
heck is that?
Right.
That looks funny to me. It looks like didn't look real.
So
at
were
all.
you painting or airbrushing or
Yeah.
painting and
Oh,
stuff?
absolutely.
then?
I got the airbrush and learned how to use, the single action airbrush. That's what they told you to get. You need 2 of them at least, and blah blah blah. You paint, but and I
Back
thought
to the
I got
artistic thing.
I got
Yep.
pretty good with an airbrush back then. That was
And this was
good
in
with it.
1982.
This would probably be in 82, 83.
82,
probably.
83.
Yeah, that's when I first started really getting into it, and then I ordered the deer. I got to the deer. That was an adventure.
Was there, how many people were doing, so what year did you get the deer? The
83.
deer? 83 you got the deer.
83,
so a year
84
later.
maybe. I can't remember exactly.
And that at that time, how many people in Ohio do you think roughly were doing deer? Did you know of
There was
really-
nobody around me other
Nobody.
than, no.
Yeah.
Nobody that I can remember doing it.
So then you had to go and find, you either killed or somebody brought you a deer to do the deer?
Yeah, either that or, I would buy a skin or cape from somebody
Okay.
and just kind of,
Oh yeah.
and just kind of go from there.
You kinda did it.
It didn't matter what if it was a doe or a buck. I just wanted to try it.
Try
Right.
it. Just try it.
Yeah, just try it. And, it was, God. It went okay. As a matter of fact, I probably did 25, 30 heads before I finally realized I got to get some hands-on. I got to go have somebody show me,
Yeah.
So
You weren't satisfied. You just weren't.
not really.
The tips and tricks weren't
but
there for
at the
you.
time, I thought, hey, it's not bad. That's pretty good. And it's not really.
So the big question, what were you tanning then? What were you self-tanner come with the kits and stuff?
Yeah,
or?
you would self-tan. That was kind of a nightmare. I didn't have the really right equipment to tan.
So-
I do
So
now.
if you were trapping, you had fleshing stuff.
Oh,
and,
absolutely. I had
and yeah,
beams. As
yeah.
a matter of fact, this is no kidding. When my brother and I were trapping, we'd flesh our muskrats. And
Yep.
coon. I still use that beam today.
You still have the same board and
50
beam.
years old, the beam.
Hey man, I was very, very close with. I mean, mine was on a hinge and folded
Right,
down.
yeah.
and it was just like your lady's ironing board.
Right.
That was your fleshing beam.
Yeah, you
You
could-
still use it?
I still use it. I
Wow.
still use it. It's I mean, yeah,
That's awesome.
great.
So
Because it gets shaped just
gets-
like you want it.
Well,
and everything.
I bought the little the small fleshing beam for really delicate, tight, small areas.
Yep.
And I finally wore that one out. I mean, just got it down to nothing, a toothpick. I
mean-
had to finally get it replaced.
if you could generalize like a high level view what it takes to do, I don't know this. What does it take to do a deer head? Like you get a deer head in, what's that process look like? Somebody brings you a cape with a deer head. I mean, kind of what happens from there? Or what's the best practices that you found?
Joel can tell you, I placed several, 100 times. But, a lot of the deer I get in today and in the past, I like the whole deer on the carcass. I've got a skinning pole back
Yeah,
there.
he's got a
up
pole
and down.
and-
I just prefer, no kidding, I can cape a deer in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
just boom, boom, boom.
you
It's-
don't want them
it's-
caped. You want the whole deer.
I prefer it, and I get it. Sometimes that's not practical. I get that, but you know what? I don't mind doing it. Oh, you should charge for that. I said, I like that. This is a people business,
Yeah.
So I don't charge for it. You come to my door, For one thing, you go out, and of course, a lot of the people that come, they know they've been coming here for years and years, decades, I guess, whatever. But it's a great time to know people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
learn people,
Right.
get to know them, and
Get the story.
get the
and-
story,
yeah,
and because it's a people business. I know a lot of, well, I don't know a lot, but I've heard stories of guys that were really good taxidermists, but they were jerks.
Yeah.
And I say, I don't care how good he is, I ain't going there. But anyway, it's a people business. Nothing is more personal to you than your deer.
Right.
Right?
Right.
100%.
Exactly.
So that's the only deer like that in the world. There's another one exactly like it, and that deer to them is like, hey man, they're thinking enough to bring it over to me and let them go spend
I mean,
some.
they just dropped their kid off the babysitter and might not really care a lot about that, but they
Mm-hmm.
care a whole lot about that deer that just
Oh,
dropped
yeah.
off at Rick Busse.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I always saw it as kind of the end of the process, right? The process starts with scouting, then you go hunting, then you have the kill, then you have the gutting, then the end of the process, the end of the success, the
butcher.
story,
Then
the
the-
butcher, and then the end is dropping off
Yeah.
and then picking up with Rick.
Well,
you know?
all I do is just cape the deer out, and then they take their deer with them wherever they take it.
Yeah.
But I
in
mean,
the process.
by Rick doing it himself, he is eliminating a whole lot of fleshing. I mean,
I am.
Yeah,
A
he's
lot of cleanup
eliminating a
work.
lot of cleanup and fleshing.
So in the long run, it might take me 10 minutes with them, 15 minutes to
but
cape deer.
it could eliminate.
In the
a-
day,
a
heck, I might have 10 deer laying there
Yeah.
in my driveway, and it's
Yeah.
all day long, and cape a deer. But that's okay because you get to know people, and
Wh-
who's better than a deer hunter to work for?
Right.
They're
Right.
great people.
Yeah.
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 They're just
So
we're on the same field.
like for somebody that has like maybe they're making a mistake in the field gutting, what's the point of where you want them to stop?
It's so simple. Just don't go past the armpits.
Don't go past the armpits.
Yeah, just leave that. That used to be. It's not near the problem. It used to be way back in the day. They come in here and slit, go way up there.
Yeah.
And to really tell you the truth, even if they go a little too far, it's an easy fix.
It's an easy fix.
It kind of is. It's
Yeah.
it's not like, oh my gosh.
I've always
you
tried
know.
to like stop at the rib cage. I just never knew.
Oh my gosh,
kinda
am I
like-
gonna?
So did Travis come down to you and do a
I-
little bit of a?
Travis has been here plenty of times
Yeah.
at my place, and we've
Because
talked
Travis does a
and-
good job. I mean, whenever he gets
come
done
on.
with Travis and comes to me, Travis does a
Oh, sure.
very good
Oh,
job,
absolutely.
man.
It's-
Yeah.
Look, dude, it ain't rocket science.
No.
Believe me, if you just just do it right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's believe me, it's 3 cuts.
Yeah.
The elbow to the knee, halfway, circle, the final up the back, white, brown.
So how much has the forms changed over the over the years?
Man,
I mean,
oh man, when I started in taxidermy, McKenzie, they're a huge company.
Yep.
They're a huge company. When I started, I wish I still had their catalog. It was 25 pages.
Mackenzie's a supplier of taxidermy products.
McKenzie.
Taxidermy,
They're
taxidermy
the
supply.
deer targets, everything. McKenzie.
okay.
Yeah, McKenzie. But their catalog used to be 25, 30 pages. Mannequins were $14.95 in there, and of course they weren't quite as good. They're not as good as they are today, obviously. But it was a little thin catalog. Now it's a 1,100 page catalog.
Wow.
1,100 pages.
1,100 pages.
and-
Because over the years, McKenzie bought a lot of other companies around them.
How about Ben Mears? Are they still out
Love
there?
him. Ben Mears sold his original line to McKenzie.
Okay.
And then after, I don't know, a few years after that, he went back and sculpted a whole new line, and they're very nice.
You're
They're
talking
very
about
nice.
like the forms.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
a
yes.
form.
The
Okay.
forms.
Yeah, Ben Mears makes a great
Yep.
for the Midwestern deer that we have.
Yeah.
Because the deer are different.
They are. They're all different.
They're different. I mean, I can tell us even in Ohio, I can tell a southeastern Ohio deer in my driveway, my parking lot.
They're all different, aren't they?
And Kentucky deer, that deer's from Kentucky. I can see it from my window.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, they're
all
just
different.
kind of a different one. But we have, I've always said this, in my opinion, our Midwestern bucks, the Corn Belt, this part of Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and then Missouri, Iowa, they're the best. And I've seen giants out of Alberta and Canada and stuff. But yeah, they're cool. And then you go southeast Texas and just a different whitetail down there. But I still think we have
You're
the
saying-
nicest looking
We do.
whitetails. They're
Gotcha.
beautiful. They believe me, they can be giants. They can be big.
Yeah.
But they're the prettiest. The markings on them, the colors. See, that's what taxis look at. Guys look at the antlers, the hunter.
He looks at- yes.
I look at the eyelashes.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, look at those eyelashes.
Yeah.
And just the coloring and the
Rick can
markings.
tell if I would take a deer, and I can remember I killed one. If I would take a late season January one.
I love
He
those.
would tell me that the long eyelashes from the late December January kills. He said they grow the long eyelashes to protect from the sunlight.
Sun,
in the
sunlight
winter.
and a snowpack.
And the snowpack.
Really?
Yep. Pretty cool.
And this
I didn't know
and the
that.
coloration. Look, a whitetail deer changes, especially a mature. What we all look for, the mature whitetail changes drastically month to month throughout the year.
Right.
It's just unbelievable. I've seen, like right now, you go out there and with late July, you know, they got the summer coat yet, you know, the skinny necks. Even the mature ones are not big yet. That deer, if you get a 5, 6 year old deer now, you know, mature, you know, the man, he's not looking that.
No.
He's just
Kinda
not that
looking like a
impressive.
guy at a retirement center.
Look at him look at him November 1st.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a man.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always tell you know, the best day, in my opinion, and you've covered this too, the best day of the season to shoot a deer was November 1st.
November 1st.
Or a few days before, a few days
Yeah.
after that 2 week kind of area, because they just got that coat in. They haven't been in fights. They're not rough, beat up, cut up, slashed up, fought up, chipped up, you know. So they're just, it's like the heavyweight champion. When he steps into the ring
Yeah.
for the first round, that's his ultimate. He's at his
Right.
peak.
Peak. Yeah.
In late season, it's the 15th round. Look at him,
Yeah.
beat to hell.
Right.
You know, if he's participates in the
Right.
in the breeding season, right?
So we've somewhat talked about knowing when deer, what's going on with the season by the butcher.
Yep.
And the taxidermy. I mean, Rick would be always
yeah.
call and tell me. And so now there's all these new reports and new studies. You know, Gary told us that and everything. That Gary Comer told us, that was here for the DNR, that by November the 5th, that like 80 or 85% of the does are bred by November the 5th.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I can-
you know, and
so
that
now,
was
now there's all this. There's all these studies coming out of these 10-year studies that say basically the October law is like falsification. Basically, the entire month of October is breeding, and November, the middle of November, is the law.
yeah.
So basically, what is the biggest deterrent of deer movement?
Deterrent.
The biggest deterrent of deer movement.
I'd say temperature.
That's it.
Temperature.
Weather and temperature.
Yeah.
Weather and temperature. So basically, all of October, they're doing their thing.
At night.
And if it's cool, get your ass out there. If it's cool.
Yeah.
And it said especially mornings.
Right.
Especially mornings if it's cool in October. And but basically they're doing their thing, and if it's warm, they're doing their thing at night. But yeah, so basically the October law is not the October law.
Right.
They're basically already doing, you know.
Yeah.
When do you get lots of giants through October?
I do. Listen. It's crazy. You know, I can only tell you what I see. Excuse me. It's weird though. I mean, like the number of deer that come in through October, it's pretty steady. But that November the 3rd, holy crap, it's like a light switch. 2 years ago, this is no kidding. 2 years and 23 was probably my busiest. I was too damn dumb to shut them off. You know, the volume coming in. In
2023?
23.
Okay.
2023 from November 1st right up until gun season, 120 deer in my door.
Wow.
And
120.
120. And normally it's 80, 90, maybe it's too many. But, you know, just like, oh my God, it's just crazy. And
Was that because of that year was a good year, or was
So
it
it's
because of
it's basically then I would bet that it's cool temperatures, and you know, according to Gary, like 70% of them are bred, and they're just they're just looking.
chasing for the last.
That's when you're
Chasing.
going to say, oh, they're crazy. That's when you're being stand all day because, you know,
They're running and chasing
they're
everywhere.
moving. I mean, the deer, honey, you going 50 miles an hour right past you.
If you're
know?
50, if you're below 50 as a daytime high, it's gonna rock.
It's going to be awesome.
It's gonna rock.
Yeah, a lot of movement.
Yeah.
So,
Lots of movement.
do you personally still hunt?
I bow hunted 40 years, 35 or 40, I don't know. I never killed a giant like Joel, but I mean, I killed a couple 140 class deer.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have a daughter, Taylor.
Yep.
Joel
She's
knows
ate
well.
up with it too.
You know her well.
Yeah.
She started hunting with me, and when she was 8, she was in the tree at 8 and 9. She wasn't carrying a weapon, but she shot her first deer at 10. And she was just like excited. Like I can remember relate the story real quick. We're in a hunt blind, and it was the youth season, right? And we're in a blind, and she just every she see a deer, she'd freak out,
Right,
because it's like
right.
crazy. So this doe comes in, and she wants to shoot this deer, and that's great, your first deer, okay. But this is when I knew she was going to hunt, because she's got there with this little single shot 410, and this deer's out there 30 yards, and she shoots the deer, and she just drops, and she made the famous spine shot, right?
Yeah.
Well, what happens sometimes when you spine shoot them?
Yeah.
They're not dead.
No,
They're not dead. So I said, this is going to make or break her right here, because it could be ugly. Because, we don't want to see an animal.
Right.
Like that. Well,
No,
hell,
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And especially, I don't know exactly how
Don't tell me Taylor ran out and slit his throat.
Practically.
No. So we get out of the blind, and there's this deer, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. And I kind of stay behind me, Taylor. Give me your gun. I'm going to finish it. So we go up there, and I said, just give me the gun. She goes, oh, no. No, I'm shooting it. I'm shooting it. And so I said, well,
Shoot it.
shoot it right there. Shot it. And so, that was the first I've watched her shoot 8 or 9 deer now. And
Nice.
I really don't care to shoot a deer really anymore too much. I mean, I don't love deer meat. I like it fine, but I don't care to. If I shot a really like a 200-inch deer and I was by myself, I'd go, oh, this is pretty cool, but nobody's here to enjoy it with me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not the same as it was when we were younger.
Yeah.
Or the same. I mean,
know what I mean?
the killing is a climatic end of
Killing takes a second.
Yeah.
It's the whole
it's
thing.
the whole
Process.
Yes.
the whole process of
Yeah, I mean,
getting ready
yeah.
and the whole
Yeah. Yep.
about that. But anyway, yeah.
So how old's Taylor now?
She's 29.
29. Still hunts.
Still
loves
hunts.
it.
She's 29, getting
She-
married in November.
Getting married in November. She live in this area.
She lives in Perrysburg.
Perrysburg.
She works at Federated Insurance and
Awesome.
bought her own house up there.
So what
and-
something is he has 2 daughters, and probably Claire could care less.
She's not.
Well, actually, in the day, I took her on a couple of youth duck hunts, and she shot some ducks.
She did?
Yeah, she shot some ducks, but she never really, which is fine.
Yeah.
But she was, I think she went bow hunting one time, and we saw some deer, 100 yards, and
Yeah.
But anyway, Taylor got it. She's into turkey. She loves turkey hunting now. She killed a giant bird in 21. I mean,
Taylor's all into turkey hunting now.
oh my, she loves. I think she killed a big. That was, oh my God, you should see that video.
But the deer behind me,
Yeah.
90. I mean, he thinks 90.
1990.
Yeah, 1990. And somehow I'm getting it mounted, and I really do not know what led me to
Yeah,
Rick Busse
maybe you
in
saw one of
Sydney,
my-
Ohio.
You saw one of my homemade posters.
I
on one of
must
these
have, or
little
something,
little
or
fish shops
somebody
whatever,
told me, or whatever. But that's how we met for the
Right.
first
I
time.
remember Joel carrying that deer up my steps. There's steps to the house.
It was caped, was it
was
not?
caped
Yeah,
out.
it was caped
It
out.
was caped out.
Yep.
I remember that. I got a picture of it. Should have brought it. Gosh, we were younger then. But yeah, I remember.
And it
doing
was
that.
your mom and was you?
It was my mom's house
Your
and
mom's
her
house.
basement, because I had graduated from my bifold bench, and I was starting to get some volume in, starting to get a few
Right.
deer. And that little
So did
dungeon,
you live there, or you
there
just
was an
worked at your
apartment-
mom's house?
There was an apartment above the house.
Okay.
It had a separate entrance, and that was pretty cool for me.
Yeah.
And that's when I started building the business, or whatever you want to call it.
That'd have been roughly 1990.
Would have been, yeah, in 19.
And then I remember his area that he mounted the deer. And
remember-
then I remember a drum set. I think I could see it. Was there a drum set probably there?
Probably, yeah.
And then I remember we're talking about the deer. He's writing down paperwork. And then I just remember this smoking hot chick come walking in on the sidewalk. And
There we
must have been his girlfriend
Yeah.
at the
Couldn't
time
even-
is now his wife.
Go,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
of course it is.
I'm like, who the hell is
Yeah,
this?
that's
And
awesome.
of course, Rick kind of lifted weights and shit at the time,
Yeah.
so he was
Looking
pretty
pretty
buff.
good.
He was buff.
In the
Still
day.
looking good
He
though,
was
Rick. You're
buff.
still
He
looking
was.
good, brother.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Yeah. So that was my
Hey, let me
first
tell you,
Rick Busse-
turning
Rick
60
Busse.
really sucks.
You don't look 60.
I'm
you don't look
creep. I'm there. I'm getting there, man.
So
But anyway.
the 1990, I think. I mean, I want to take a minute to appreciate the way this deer looks
I mean,
because of all you.
Look at that thing.
I mean,
Well,
it looks.
You know what? That's like that mannequin at the time was state of the art, where you could never sell that mannequin today. I mean, nobody would ever buy it
Right.
because of the.
so
you
is
know,
that a
te-
Mackenzie mannequin?
That is,
Probably,
that is
yeah.
a Mackenzie 7,200.
You know, and it's kind of faded with the
not
light
much.
and everything. But
It's
I mean,
faded with
there-
fluorescent lights.
yeah, but
it's
there's
terrible.
no cracking, no nothing.
they got lucky
no
on that
nothing,
one.
man. And I just remember the times that I've stopped and visited Rick, and there's the mannequin, and so he has the clay and everything, and he basically would like put a little ball in my hand, and that was basically about the ear.
That's the ear. The ear, but that's about the volume of an ear line.
The volume of an ear was about like a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're building. You're taking a mold, and then you're adding the contour. You're adding the ears.
Correct.
You're adding the contour in the
Yep.
face.
Yep.
So you're looking at the deer that a customer brings you, and even though you have you have your preform, you're then building what you see.
It all
visually.
comes back in 1995. I thought I was doing pretty good work, but I wanted to really up the game in '95. So I went out and I spent a week with Joe Meter out in Iowa. He was a
Okay.
world champion.
Did you
Okay.
really?
Yeah, world Joe Meter at the time.
Yep.
He's still around.
Did you
Still-
know him?
I'd never met him. I knew he was doing school. He had classes.
Okay.
And he'd take on three people.
So you went
for
out
the
there?
week. I went out there, spent a week with Joe Meter.
That's awesome.
Learned a lot, but at the time I was even doing deer at the time. He said, when you come here, bring a deer that you've done so we can critique. Dude, just
They tear.
hunters don't. I mean, nothing against the hunters. They're not supposed. They have no idea what a deer looks like. You talk about reference. I learned so much about really, really, and I did this in my drawings and paintings. You really study your reference. You got to know what something looks like before you can,
Right.
duplicate it. You got to know.
Yes, you do.
You don't know what a deer looks like. Don't look at the eye. Look at the shape. Look at the freaking texture of the eyelid. Texture.
Right.
I could do the quarter routine coin. If you had a quarter on you right now, could you describe it?
No. I mean, I would describe what the quarter is, but not the detail that you're talking
No,
about.
you couldn't.
Right?
You couldn't say, well, who's on a quarter?
George Washington's on a quarter, right?
I think.
You think?
Well, I think.
Yeah, we think. Well, see, when you do it, I think it's this. I think the ear butt goes here.
Yeah.
But I don't know, so you have to look.
I mean, you're looking at the fading, the nicking, you're looking at all the little things.
Well, just I don't know what a quarter looks, but our job was he could go out in that pen. He had live deer.
Yeah.
I studied way back. with Richard. He had live deer his whole. And
Yes.
I studied. I went there. Oh my God!
We'll bring that up here soon, too.
I literally took thousands of pictures of deer. I had scrapbooks of them. The magazines, the real good magazine pictures, I would take out and put them in a scrapbook.
In the day, I remember you having pictures tacked up
everywhere.
everywhere.
Because
I'm talking like right on.
You can't really guess. It's not like you have a dog. I mean, if you have a lab, say, and if you had your lab in a room with 50 other labs, you could go find your dog, right?
Right.
Because you know what it looks like.
Right.
People have no idea what it really. They can recognize a deer standing in the field 50 yards, but they can't really describe it.
Yeah, that's a unique perspective.
Yeah. I mean, it's just paying attention to, and that was way back in the day. That's what I learned from Joe Meter and, of course, a few other things.
Yeah.
And he really upped the game.
Is he still doing taxidermy?
You know what? I really don't know. I don't know.
He's got to be old now.
Well, he's got to be in his 80s by now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
But
he was quite a bit.
he was a
older.
big time taxidermist.
Well, he was world champion.
Yeah.
World champion, and of course, back in the day in the early '90s, I went to all the competitions. I've been to the World Show a few times way back. Been to state shows. I don't do them anymore, but you would compete, and then you'd get a real pro, an expert, and they'd critique you, and you'd learn and go on from there. And
you consider yourself a real pro, right? I mean,
now,
yeah, absolutely.
Well, sure I do
Then
now.
you were saying then, okay. I thought you were.
Here's the biggest thing I remember. Rick saying that. So, Joel, we can mount your deer, and if the time you put into it that you do at the show could be a $2,000. Other words, he puts out a freaking excellent product for the
because,
price that you charge.
Look, I have a friend who's a world champion. His name's Paul. He's from West Virginia. I got him a cape because I just met a lot of people, and Paul was one of them. He was a excellent tax. Now he owns a supply company, And anyway, he was competing in the 2015 World Show, the World Competition, and he needed a cape. He calls me up and he says, "Rick, I get capes whenever I could,
Right, yep.
And he calls me. I said, "Paul, I got one for you, brother." I said, "I'll be on the lookout for one." Well, anyway, within a few days, a guy comes in with a deer, really nice buck, but it had no brow tines. It was like a 160 class, but they weren't broken, just never grew them.
Right.
So I'm thinking, that cape is A1 pristine. It's big, it's perfect, beautiful markings, no chips everywhere, no scars, scrapes, sores, nothing, just pristine. I'm going, I forget the guy's name, but I talked him out of mounting that deer because I wanted that cape so bad for
Yeah,
Paul.
an ulterior motive on
I
that
said,
cape.
you know what? Those brow tines just look funny when they're not there. You just do a Euro.
Yeah. I love that.
So anyway,
Cha-ching.
yeah, well, I got the cape off, and then I sent it to, hey, Paul, I got a cape from, you just don't see them like this too much, big, everything, perfect.
Right.
So I got it to him, and he absolutely won the world show with that cape.
Oh, that's
He
awesome.
won
He
best,
did?
The
best
one
in the world.
The one you picked. That's great.
And he sent me a beautiful 8x10 with a mount that the dude made his own eyeballs with glass. I mean, it just went way over the top. I can't even imagine. He said, "Paul, how many hours you got in that mount?" No, about 250.
Oh my.
Are you shitting me?
No, I said, "What you-"
250.
I said,
that's-
250. You see the mount. That's what they do at these competitions. I mean,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they do, master of masters, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're unbelievable. You talk about art. That's art.
It's like a
That's-
Photoshop picture in real life. It's that perfect.
Some of the talents out there is mind-boggling.
How much have eyes changed over the year? Has the eyes changed quite a bit, or changed?
Yeah, they're pretty. Yeah, there's improvements in every
What
aspect.
is the material of
glass.
the? It is a glass eye.
Glass
Okay.
size, yeah. Glass, and there's different grades, but to your average guy,
Yeah, they don't care.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
look, as long as you do everything else around it correct,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, if like a musician, a piano player, he can make an old upright piano that's out of tune, and you play it, and you go, "Oh my God, you're amazing," because he knows what he's doing,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can wear a grand piano, a $40,000 Steinway or something. If you can't play it,
Yeah.
what good is it? But like I say, if you have the ability and the know-how to sculpt the eye around the glass, that's the main thing.
Right.
The glass is secondary, really. You could put
Yeah.
a dang marble in there and pull it off, black marble, and most go, "Oh, it looks good."
Looks great. Looks awesome.
Great, yeah.
So before we get too far away from like awards, I wanted to ask a question. And then I was hoping maybe we could take a quick break if everybody was okay with that. Have you ever won any awards? Can you tell us a little bit
I
about
just
that?
won. There's 3 divisions: amateur, professional, and masters.
Okay.
I never competed in the masters.
Never competed in Masters.
No, because it's just.
That's the 250 hour.
Back then, that's what it was. I haven't competed in probably 20 years or longer.
Okay.
I would always compete in the professional.
Yeah.
It was tough enough.
Right. Yeah,
Believe
no
me, it was
doubt.
tough enough to
Right.
win. And I got a couple blues, mostly reds, second places.
Yeah.
Mostly reds, couple thirds, but
So is that you said that's all the United States was competing
it would
into that?
in the world show.
Oh, that was a world show.
Yeah.
And
I took a deer at the world professional level.
And you
and
won in
got-
the pros.
In the pro, well, you had to earn a ribbon. There could be multiple winners in each category.
Okay.
You had to be so good to get a second or a red ribbon.
Yeah.
And I got a. Oh, excuse me.
No, you're okay.
I still I had a red ribbon from the world show, and to me, that's
That's
Oh, yes.
unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
good enough. And it wasn't the master. I ain't going. No way can you do that. I wasn't that level.
Right.
But I appreciate. I mean,
No, I think that's
look, competing is for the learner. If you want to learn, it's
Yeah.
learn.
No doubt.
And you have to. You got to be willing to take your lumps from the guy.
yeah.
And it's just a learning thing. But I competed for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
I feel like it's
shows.
probably a different perspective than what you're doing every day, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
it's a different feel or it's a different process, I'm assuming to
Well, competing is stressful. At the time it was. I said, why am I putting myself through this? I can be, why would I put
Yeah, no doubt.
25
right,
hours in this mountain when you're not going to get paid for it?
right.
Yeah.
It's just, you got to, look, it's like any other business. Just get a clean, professional service and a good product.
Yeah.
We're not all driving Rolls Royces.
Right.
No.
You know what I mean? Nobody's buying a
And nobody wants to pay for a Rolls
no.
Royce.
And I'm guessing like the different And I don't know, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but the difference between like that level of, is it a 10% difference?
Yes.
You know,
Your average dude,
your average
you're getting that 90%, and that 10% nobody, I'm never
Right.
gonna see. 99% of the people are
Right.
never gonna see that.
So it's a vehicle that is the Honda or whatever, a vehicle that rolls down the line that is $50,000 or $60,000. Then there's some emblems put on it and a couple, and now that vehicle is $125,000.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
See, it's like the business is they just want service and a decent product.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, service.
Right.
That's why today it's just this turnaround time is just crazy to me. I just can't stand it when I have to tell a guy. Last year was terrible. I finally shut him off after 140 deer, and I've never done that in my career. Just say that I can't do anymore.
Right.
You know, it's like anything, supply and demand. Joel, if you've got 100 people wanting to come in,
Can't do it.
you can't do it.
Can't do it.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
So
What's the most amount of deer you ever took in 1 year?
close to 200,
Close
I'm gonna
to
say, I
200.
know you've been knocking on 200.
which is
Yeah.
way too many.
Yeah.
And back then, at the time when I was taking 200, I was sending the capes out to the tannery, where I was not doing that labor step.
Gotcha.
They would tan for me and send back. Now I just tan everything. I've been tanning my own stuff, whitetails, for 15 or 18 years now. I just tan myself. It's a better product.
Yeah.
I think I'm more control.
You're in more control, better quality. You control it.
I feel it is a little better quality. It's a hell of a labor step. It's just
Yeah.
It's physical work.
Is there anything you outsource at all at
The
this
big
point?
stuff. Any bears at the time I was doing. I'm not doing any more big stuff.
Yeah.
I got Joel's elk to do, and another big one. And that's probably the last elk I'm going to do in my career. Dude, I've been 43 years.
Yeah.
So how about
I don't-
you'll have to ask him about turkey. My
That turkey over there was the last
that was probably
turkey
the
I
last
ever
turkey
did.
you ever did.
Joel's like the end all. He's like the end all.
Joel, after working, I've
Turkey
had
and
enough of
elk,
this.
you'll have to.
I mean, basically the time per hour in a turkey versus the time per hour in a so a turkey you're working for $5 an hour. A turkey he's good making $40 an hour.
Right,
yeah, so
right.
it's just not worth it.
So it's just,
Just
you
not
know,
worth
it's
it.
just price. It's just price and demand. And,
Sure.
I mean, really, if you're a good business person, you just say, well, if I got 100 people or they want to, you just jack your prices up to where you finally, I have a thing. It broke my heart to tell some of these people, I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, Rick, you can't do it. I said, I got to cut them off somewhere. I mean, I just have to. I have a related phone call from last season. It's later season, and I'm full. I really am. I just can't. I can't
Yeah.
lose my.
Just be honest with the people, man.
I am.
Yeah.
You got to. Look, people can handle the truth. Tell them.
Yeah.
Just tell them. If
Yeah.
it's going to be this long, tell them.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so this guy calls from up North Carolina or whatever. He calls me and says, Rick, I got the deer of my life. I've been waiting 20 years to bring you this deer. And I said, yeah. I don't have his name on top of my head. I said, I am full up. I just can't take another deer. And I can hear his heart breaking over the phone.
You could hear a tear
A
just drop.
tears falling. He goes, is there anything can I talk you into anything? I said, because I want to do it for him.
Yeah.
It's in my DNA to do his work for him,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I want to do his deer. I said, well, it costs this much, which was, it's higher than most people by a little bit, and it's going to take 18 months, maybe 19 months. I'm on my way.
Is that one done?
No, hell no.
That's this year or
That was last season.
Oh, okay, last season.
So,
Gotcha.
so the 24th season, I just started them, which is crazy. I just started my 24th season about 3 months ago.
Right.
And I like to go into a season with maybe 15 or 20 to do from the previous season. Jesus God, I'm going to have 100 going into.
But I
the
mean,
season.
over the past 20 years or whatever, I have been Rick's therapist several times.
Yeah.
I mean, a taxidermist is not a taxidermist if he hasn't had a couple mental breakdowns and a
Right.
couple, meltdowns and a couple, and I mean, if there's 200 some coming in the door and you're charging this, I mean, it's just the nature of the business. You now
Gotta go
charge
up.
this and hope that it goes to 150 or 100.
And it doesn't.
And then
Goes
it
up.
doesn't.
It really doesn't.
So
my first deer mount was $135.
Oh,
are
wow.
you shitting me?
Wow.
19. When I had brochures printed up because I was going to get I had brochures, everything listed, your prices, On that brochure, I still have a couple left of them. It's $160 for a deer head. That's on that. I think it was 82 or 83, whatever it was.
But before we
82.
take a break, I will
Yeah.
just say it's like the whitetail deer brings people together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like somehow it led me to him, and
Yeah.
we became lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And then when we come back from a break, we'll talk about another person that he introduced me to that, like whitetail deer, brought us together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll find each other.
It's
we'll
like
have
one-
that common denominator.
It's like one of your favorite things when you like, it always comes up for me. I'm like, well, do you hunt? And then when somebody says, yeah, you get really excited because you're excited to just talk
Yeah.
about it. So yeah, let's take a quick break, guys.
Okay.
We're back.
So I wanted to ask about what I want to ask about is when did it become, we have a stack of magazines that you did pictures and taxidermy, right? Both, or just, is it pictures and some of the taxidermy?
I did all the photos on these covers,
All the photos.
and that's just I just grabbed. I have 25 national covers.
You have 25 national covers,
But,
Buckmasters,
mostly
North American whitetail.
North American whitetail. I have a Canadian big buck magazine. I've got these couple of states, the Game and
Yeah,
Fish
what was that
ones.
Canadian magazine called?
It was called Big Buck.
Rack.
No, Rack and
Rack.
Buckmasters. Rack is a spin-off of Buckmasters.
Okay.
I don't know, 10 or dozen of them. I don't really know. But I mean, I love photography. You talk about art. Putting a deer mount together is really, a deer head on the wall is really not, in my opinion, not art. It's a process, and it has to be done correctly, like baking a cake. Everything has to be done right to make it look good. But I can't decide to paint that nose purple
Right.
and make it, but you start with the magazine. This is an 8x10 blank sheet. And it can be anything, but you have to be able to photograph. And I learned a lot from Gordon Whittington, Brad Herndon in the day. I learned a lot. And my art teacher in college, my little community college, changed my life. This dude was amazing. I mean, he taught me composition, design,
Right.
because I had some ability, but he says, you got some ability, but this is where you need to improve. And he taught me about how to look at things, how to design things. So when I look through the lens,
You had to envision the North American whitetail up there. Envision.
You have to
You always told me the eye. I mean, you were always.
Well, there's certain tips. I mean, I'd like to give out on just better field photo pictures. You see them, some of them are so horrendous you can't print them. But if you want to get the attention of an art director in a magazine, you got to you got to follow some guidelines,
Yeah.
and that's what like this deer here, the Brian Stevens buck back in '09. Yeah, it was a legendary deer, but man, to get the photographs of the legendary deer and they're good, that's what made it elevated the status of that deer throughout North America.
How many pictures did it take, or how long did it take to get that picture? That is, you said that was in.
This one here,
Right there.
No, yeah.
Behind you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did a 2-day shoot, and thankfully, we had the weather. We weren't worried about the deer, spoiling because it was cold.
Yep.
And the deer could, be out in the cold. So we did a 2-day shoot. This was the first day. This is, I call it the swamp shot. By the way, all these photos, all the pictures in my backyard.
In your backyard.
Mm-hmm. Except yours, I did the Real Tree DVD cover.
That
of
was
you.
here.
That was here.
That's right.
Yeah. So that was a thrill for me too, to be on a real. That was pretty cool. But anyway, this was the first shoot, and digital was just. They were all digital at the time. We had the digital camera, and that particular one, you had to nail me down and pick out my favorite. I got my top 5, but it's right in there. The reason I love that, being an artist, photography, whatever, that just works for me, because what is art? When you look at a piece of art, it stirs emotion. Not a snapshot. That does. Oh, it's a picture of the.
Yeah.
You go by. When you have a stack of pictures, all of a sudden you see one, you go, whoa.
Yeah.
That when you look at it for 5 seconds, because that's what.
What about that picture gave you the whoa factor?
That was the first day. First of all, I got to tell you about. Should we go into Brian?
Yeah,
we need to go into Brian.
The call.
The call.
The call.
The call.
The call. This was back in 2009, and busy as I can be, as always,
Yep.
And this was the first. It was
First day of shotgun.
First day of the gun season, and I was busy deer laying everywhere. And this was Tuesday. It wasn't Monday, it was Tuesday. And I get this call. Hello, my name's Brian Stevens. I said, hey, Brian, how you doing? Bob? He goes, I was referred to you. A few people call me because I've measured deer. I've measured thousands of deer in my life. For 50 years, I've been measuring deer. But anyway, Brian Stevens here. I got this big deer in
Highland County, I remember it.
Highland County, right?
Highland County.
Yeah, and I was told to give you. I said, well, I mean, the first thing that comes to my head, because I get calls all the time. I got a big deer. I wanted to get it photographed, and I said, well, how big is it really?
Yeah.
Pictures worth 1,000 words. And he says, well, it's got a 30-inch beam on it. I go, whoa, that gets my attention, right? 30-inch. It's rare.
Yeah.
How many 30-inch beams? They just don't. You see them, but they're pretty rare. Well, that's got my attention. I said, well, how long is the longest tine? He goes, well, the longest tine is about 17 inches. I said, 17? I said, dude, this guy's measuring up one side and going down the other.
Yeah, this guy doesn't know how to
17.
measure. He doesn't know.
So, well, a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
But he's got my interest. He says, I'll email. So Brian's a good computer. Oh, excuse me.
Nope, you're good.
Brian's got he's a good computer guy.
That's right.
And I'm
Yep.
computer illiterate.
Yep.
He said, I'll email you some pictures. I said, all right, whatever. He gets them, and the file's way too big. I can't see anything on my computer. I said, anyway, I'm talking. This is Tuesday, and I said, okay, you got my interest. Where's the deer right now? He goes, well, I just dropped it off at the butcher shop. I said, oh my gosh, if this is what
You think
might
it
be
is?
what it might be, I could see that thing hitting the floor and breaking a tine or something. I said, you hang this phone up right now, call the butcher, and pray they haven't cut that deer up yet, because I obviously need it on the carcass for
Right.
field photos, right?
I didn't know this.
I said, you call them right away, and you say, you just go get it. Just go get the deer. The temperature's fine. It's, plenty cold.
Yep.
I said, go get the deer, and call me right back. He calls me back. I'm going to pick the deer up in the morning. They haven't cut it. They haven't done anything to it. I said, well, good. You come back in the morning. We'll start from there, which would be the Wednesday, right?
So it's now Wednesday.
It's now Wednesday. So, dude, I was so busy, swamp deer everywhere, gosh. Anyway, I'd forgotten all about it, to tell you the truth. And the next morning, Wednesday morning, I said, you be here at 8 o'clock. And next morning at 8 o'clock, and I'd forgotten all about where I was. And all of a sudden, my side window, you see where I work, I got a window that goes along my driveway.
Did you have
to my
the
parking lot.
addition on the barn and everything at the time?
I was in there. I was in my building. I was in that
you were
new
in the
bu-
building.
I was in
Wasn't in
new
the
building.
basement.
No. So I'm sitting at the workbench, and he drives by my window there with this open trailer, and the deer's on the back. And he's got an entourage of people coming with him, his friends and whatever. They're all with him too. There's 10 people in there. And he goes by, and I just glance at that thing going by in that open trailer, and I go,
Yeah.
I said, is that real? Because I've seen some deer,
Yeah.
And he pulls around to the back, and I'm standing there in my little office looking out the back window, and that thing saw it from the rear, from the back. And I guess like, oh my, I've never seen this before. This is nuts. And it's like the time stopped. And I walked out there, and Brian says, hey, Brian. I said, hey, Brian, his dad was there, and he said, cousin, whatever. He had a bunch of people with him. So I go back, and I remember grabbing that thing in the building, and I pulled that thing around, and I grabbed those beams like that, and I said, oh, my God. I looked at that, and I said, well, yeah, they got to be 30. They got to be 30, because that's just insane. You don't see 30-inch beams. You see them, but they're pretty rare. That's the magic number, beams, 30 inches. Because you get 28, that's long enough.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of Boone and Crockett deer have 28-inch beams. Anyway, my world stopped because people were talking. I didn't hear them.
So they didn't quite understand what this deer was at that time.
I don't think they finally. Hey, I didn't even.
Yeah. You're sitting there trying to process it. They're
I'm
kind of
thinking-
processing it.
I'm thinking.
So let's put it in perspective. The guy saw the deer in the morning,
Oh my gosh, what a story!
and
I don't have the
and
magazine.
and he shot at a coyote.
He saw it in the morning. They have a camp down there.
He
and
saw it
there's
in the
like
morning,
six
and he
or-
shot at a coyote.
Yeah. So he saw it in the morning, and he comes back to
And
camp.
he went back and ate lunch.
He went back and ate lunch, and he tried to describe to his friends that there was 6 or 8 of them in their camp. You know, they go down there that they got a little.
It was
house
his
down
dad
there.
or grandpa's land.
It's a family farm.
Family farm.
They owned that acreage down there, 100 and I don't know, maybe 200 acres. But anyway, he said, Brian says, "Hey, I saw this deer I saw. You won't believe." Oh yeah, right. Okay, sure. You know, everybody says that. You know, he goes that afternoon. It's in the. You got to read the article. It's fantastic. Brian wrote the article himself, and it's a heck of an adventure. Anyway, he gets the deer, and anyway, now he's in my driveway with the deer, and I'm going.
So when did you call me?
I'll tell you
As
when.
soon as he pulled in,
Well,
or
no,
that night?
no,
I
no.
knew he was coming.
Did you know he was coming that day?
Yeah, like I think you must have
Okay.
called me Tuesday.
Yeah, I might have.
Yeah.
I said you might want to.
Maybe-
But I don't know. But I don't want you to drive that way, all that, and then be disappointed in a 180.
Yeah.
You know. So anyway.
Just a 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, the world kind of stopped. I said, "You guys, excuse me for a minute." So I went in the office. I went in there, and the first person I called was Gordon Whitting. He was the editor of North American Whitetail at the time. And I remember, of course, I called his cell phone, got his answering machine. Of course, he's hunting somewhere in the country, wherever he's hunting. And I remember the message I left him. I said, "Gordon, I don't know what's on your January cover, but it's in my driveway. It's in my parking lot right now." Because I had no idea what it scored, what it measured, or what it was exactly, but that look, dude, it was something else.
Yeah.
It was just like, there's nothing like that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and
So
I mean,
can you give us some of the measurements?
I'll give you some of the measurements, but I want to tell you about this. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, long, you know, this and that. Now I called my good friend Mike Windows. You know, he's lived this measure deer, score deer. Called him up. I said, "Mike, just get over here. I don't care if you're at a funeral or a wedding. Come over. You got to see this." You know. So he did, and he just couldn't wait to get his hands on. He was the guy that entered it into the Boone and Crockett. And
Yep.
he just lived to do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Measure deer. That's what he loved to do. Anyway, so I get on the phone. I call Gordon. I said, I've got your January deer in my driveway, in my parking lot. And so anything. Well, I said, "Brian," I said, "whatever we got going on today, we're canceling because I'm going to photograph this deer." Okay. And so that's what I did, basically. And I called Gordon, and I took it back to the swamp, back of our fence row, we call it the swamp. And this particular photo, I love that photo. And believe me, I'm my worst critic. I'm the worst. But when I hit it, I know it. I know it's good. You know, I know it's good. This particular photo, why it works for me, and when I submitted it to Gordon, he made me feel fantastic. But I have, if you can imagine, that exact same pose. That picture right there with that exact same, but not that expression in about 10 other
It's
frames.
that expression.
And I remember saying I remember vividly, I said, "Brian, look at your deer like you can't believe it." And bam, he got that expression on his face. And the reason that, if you look at that photo, for me,
It looks like he just picked it up for the first
Yeah,
time.
it looks like he shot the deer, his buddy was there, and he went over and picked it up, and they took a picture. But it looks so uncontrived, but it's very contrived. If you see when you take photos of big deer, you gotta, it's all about the antlers, right? It's about the antlers. Take a picture of the antlers. That's the main thing I see with bad field photos. "Hey, Billy, look here." You know, they got the guy's face, and there's the antlers over here, you know. Take a picture of the antlers, the main subject. That's what people want to look at, right? So anyway,
And be able to see them all.
if there's a little sliver of space between every time, but it's so contrived, but it looks very uncontrived, and it looks
Right.
spontaneous, and that just, to me anyway, I don't know what I know, but to me, I look at that and go, that stirs emotion.
Yeah.
And Gordon said, "You cannot take a better picture than that."
And you can see how long the beams are in the picture and the.
Everything about that deer, everything about that photo. And believe me, I probably took 600 pictures that day of that deer. And believe me, I spent a lot of time looking, on the
At
screen.
each one of them.
And then
Every
went
one
day
of
2, and then
And day 2 was the cornfield shot. Took it over to the cornfield to see if I have it.
I think you do. Yeah.
This one here.
Yeah.
This was the cornfield shot. That was the next day. because it's good to have two settings. When you have a legendary deer, a historic deer, you can't take enough pictures.
Right.
So anyway, that one worked, and then whitetail jumped all over that, and they wanted it. And for me, first of all, whitetail, North American whitetail, I have that. It premiered in 1982. Right.
Okay.
I have every
started?
single issue.
Do you? That's awesome.
Every single issue. So I was a huge fan of North American whitetail. Now I have 8 covers, so that's special to me.
Yeah.
It's a thrill.
Did you always get fur fishing game?
Oh, absolutely.
Same here, man.
Yeah, fur fish game.
I mean, fur fishing game.
Oh, my
I
God.
mean, that was like I waited for my fur fishing game to
If
come.
you notice, fur fish game, they never had a photo on the front. It was always art.
It was always art.
Right.
It was always art.
Painting or whatever it was.
Painting, yep.
Yep.
So this was 2010,
It was
November 2010.
it would have been, that's when it came out.
Yeah.
And Buckmasters followed up. Because when you have a deer like this, it doesn't matter really who, magazine's going to want it. They
Right.
want that deer on their cover because
Right.
it was, in my opinion, and there's fantastic deer taken all across North America. But when you get this deer in your door and you get a chance out, an opportunity to, I don't think that's likely to happen again in my career. To get not only the picture of the deer,
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
when I knew you were coming,
yeah. So I think
I
I
asked
called.
you to bring. I mean, I thought that's my favorite deer of all time.
Well, it is to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Although it may not measure the
I
highest.
mean, exactly.
Dude,
But-
it's like Gordon put it. He said that deer just can't be topped visually, in my opinion. I think it's number 8. I think it might be bumped down a little since. But anyway,
Number 8, and what do you?
Ohio muzzleloader, non-typical.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, it's number 8. But guess what? The first 7 don't even compare.
don't even
Right,
compare.
right.
No, like he said, if you had it, Gordon told me, if you had a box and you had to encase those antlers in a box just big enough to accommodate the antlers, the box would be bigger than any other box.
Yeah.
Because when you measure deer, it's all about the main typical frame. Every deer is a typical, no matter how bizarre or crazy it could have 90
Every
points.
deer's got typical
Everything
frame.
got to find a typical main frame. This deer here, it's a typical 5x4 main frame. What's a big 9-pointer? What's your dream 9-pointer?
Big 9-pointer is probably 160. That's a big 9-pointer is 160 inches, right? That's a big
That's a big
9-pointer
9-pointer.
219 inches.
as a 9.
It's a 9.
If you drop the one guy right there, how big is he as an 8?
201. 211. Net 201 as an 8. It's a 211 8-pointer.
211
an 11-inch 8-pointer.
gross, 201
Yeah.
net
I mean,
eight-pointer.
that says it all right there, man. That says
It is
all right
easily,
there.
this is easily the largest 9 frame in the world.
And
Nothing really
No.
compares.
Hey,
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
and he doesn't have giant brows.
he does it.
He doesn't
yeah,
have
when
giant brows.
you say that, I didn't notice that
I
until
mean, a
just now.
200-inch 8-pointer that doesn't have giant brows.
211 gross 8.
So I'm going to tell you guys something.
So like I say,
211.
when you see the original score, of course I measured it for Buckmasters. If you look at that sheet and look at those numbers, you say, this is not possible. He was punking me here.
Yeah.
Come on, seriously. This beam here,
That's the longest beam in history, isn't it?
the longest beam in the world.
Longest beam in the world.
What is it?
35 1/8.
Longest
What's
beam in the
30,
world.
you don't see them.
But what's the other? The other one's got to be 34.
Okay, well, do you know what famous deer has the second longest beam in the world?
Is it this deer?
That right side.
You're kidding.
No,
The 2 longest beams in the world.
right there.
So
And
what
it
is
still stands.
That second one measured
34 and an
something.
8.
34 and an 8.
An inch shorter. And there's so much speculation. You see this crazy, this here, this little drop tine thing,
Yeah.
and see this hole here. That's
Yeah.
Yep.
caused by a bot
Blowfly.
Bob
Yep.
Fly.
A blowfly in
Yeah.
velvet,
Yeah.
and that got in there, and it just when and what happens, that becomes infected in the growth when it's growing in velvet.
So that beam
Becomes
would have
infected.
been long. That beam could have been longer than
Would have
30.
been, but at the site of infection, the antler doesn't grow, but the uninfected area around it continues to grow. That's why you have a hole going in.
Yeah, so all of that growth would have been extended in that
would have
beam.
been out. I mean,
because if you split him here, if you draw the 90 right there,
They could have like almost touched.
yeah, this would have definitely, in my opinion, we can only speculate.
yeah,
Yeah.
speculate.
But it's 36. Oh, it would have been because this energy would have gone into the beam length.
I mean, I know it's on camera, but like, and so I wanted to tell you guys this, and I'm not joking, and I'm not blowing smoke. I kind of was saving this. I didn't tell you, but like, I started hunting seriously in 2009. I think I killed my 2008. I killed a decent buck. That right there, I remember being in Walmart or like Dick's Sporting Goods, and I bought that magazine. It was like one of my first magazines I ever bought because
Yeah.
that, like, the picture of the deer or just the picture in general made me buy that magazine. It was
Okay.
in my room for 2 years.
Okay, so and Gordon informed me now of 82. What is it? Was it 40 some years? He says, Rick, that's the highest selling magazine off the rack in their history.
In their history,
Yeah,
North American
North
Whitetail.
American Whitetail history off the
That
newsstand.
cover?
Off the newsstand, that cover.
I mean, it's so like
It's so, I hate to say
Nostal-
perfect, but it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
That's pretty impressive.
know.
when I look at it, I see his emotion. Like you said, it's like he picked it up for the first time. You see the emotion, like it actually happened.
It's like, holy
So-
I assumed that was when I see the picture. I thought that was probably him picking it up the first time.
So Brian was invited to the governor's mansion for their sportsman's ball, and of course Brian says, "You're coming, Rick." So we went to the governor's mansion for their sportsman ball. 50, 60, 80 people, whatever, and they had that picture blown up door size, right there at the entrance. So
That's awesome.
This is amazing.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, that was a thrill
That's
for me.
cool.
It's got my little photo credit.
That's
you know,
real
I liked
cool.
it because, I mean, it's just a thrill for me.
So does
you know?
this is a personal one. You don't have to answer it, and I'm not
That's
asking
that's
how
fine.
much or anything. But like, do they pay you?
Yeah,
to,
you get
a little
it's
money
not
for
like
that?
you clean up.
Yeah,
They
but
have a certain rate.
Okay.
Intermediate outdoors at the time.
Yeah.
They would pay. It's not like
Yeah, it's
retire or
just
nothing.
sure. No, that's cool.
I
though.
get a lot bigger thrill out of seeing it.
Sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And we'll give you 50 free copies.
Yeah. There you go.
Actually, Brian and I went to a little sports bar down there south of where he lives, and Brian was like the guest. He was the guest of honor, and Gordon Whittington sent us 3 boxes of magazines. I don't know how many to a box.
He did?
Yeah, he sent us 3 boxes of magazines.
Good for Gordon.
And we had the original. Of course, it's the replica, obviously. Brian got that for me. Thank God. But anyway, so he's 3, I don't know how many's in 80, 900 in a box. And all night long, Brian signed magazines. They just lined up from here to there, signing magazines.
I mean, I know it's in. That's what I was going to say earlier. It's
Yeah,
in
to
camp.
love that.
Oh, I
It's
loved
in-
it.
Brian's
It's
a good
fantastic.
guy.
Brian's a heck
Brian's
of a
a good
nice guy.
guy,
Super
yeah.
nice guy. Yeah, we still talk. We talk a lot.
There's that photo of I think you and Brian standing by it on the internet. Is that?
That's
are you?
probably am I in suit and tie? Probably. I'm at the governor's mansion.
I just remember seeing that photo and that picture of that deer, and you're like, it doesn't even look. And then you carried it in today, and I mean, like literally, I stopped standing in the kitchen looking at it. I
Yeah.
mean, I know it's on camera, but like you can't describe what you're looking at in person.
Yeah, and I'm not
It's-
taking away. Ohio's got some unbelievable deer, and I'm biased, but that will go down. Even the Beatty buck.
Yeah,
I mean, the Beatty buck's amazing. What a deer! 2000 be 25 years for the Beatty buck. Mounted that 25 years.
Did you have that picture? Right?
This was the day I
Yep.
met Mike. The day I scored it for Buckmasters. Me and another guy. And this was the day we went.
Chris, you got him on that camera, his camera. Okay.
We went somewhere to meet Mike, and that's why it's full of tape to mark all your abnormal points. And me and Ed Waite were scoring it for Buckmasters.
I know, Ed.
Yeah.
I've always had this question, not to get off subject, but do you have to become certified to measure for?
you do.
Yeah.
Okay, and how do you become certified?
Go to a class.
You go to a class.
You go to
Okay.
a class, and then you know.
I've always wanted to actually do that. I think it would be.
Well, I don't even measuring deer to me. Over the years, I've formed an opinion on measuring deer and say, it's fine. You
If
gotta
10
do it.
guys measure it, in your opinion, would it be plus or minus a percent, 2%?
It depends upon if it's a big
Look,
thing with lots of questions. Like that has
this
lots
deer.
of questions.
Get this, okay, in Ohio, it nets 304 and 6/8. In Boone and Crockett, it's 294 and change. Same deer, same antlers. How are you approaching it?
Yeah.
I think Ohio scores it at a 10 frame, 5x5, and then Pope and Young, Boone and Crockett scores it as a 4x4. It's got so many questions, so many different ways.
Did you mount this deer?
I mounted that deer.
You mounted this deer too. The Beatty buck you did.
And I mounted 12 replicas of it, too. 12 replicas.
You got a question. I didn't want to.
So-
Go ahead.
This is what needs to be done. Mark my word.
What?
There needs to be a water displacement.
Okay.
There's a bucket of water. or there's a big thing of water, you set the rack in it, however much water comes out,
That's you don't
that's
like
how
that?
much that's how much bone there is.
You don't like that?
I mean,
you don't like that, Rick?
Not really.
What's wrong with that?
I love that.
You know what, to me, what measures a rack?
What?
You look at it. What's it do for you? Does it stir you? Does it go, oh my, does it buckle your knees? Holy crap, what the, I mean.
But as far as deductions, I'm a non-deduction.
Oh,
person
yeah,
as
I'm
far
all
as
about
net.
gross.
Of course,
I'm all about squid.
I'll never tell a guy what I think it nets. Who cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
I don't. Who
No,
gives a shit?
Who cares? I mean,
What is this buck gross?
he grosses Boone and Crockett now. Boone and Crockett says it's 250 and 1/8 gross.
Okay.
But remember, on a net, you lose this 4
You lose
Yeah.
that.
because there's no 4 over here.
Right.
This is an 8-frame net.
And
know.
you said
That beam
Two,
has
232 and 5, I think. is-
232, and then
5/8.
you said that was Boone and Crockett. What
and
about
Crockett.
Pope and Young?
Well, Pope and Young is only for bows.
Only for okay, yeah, that's
Right.
I knew
Rick,
that. Yeah,
that beam is 13 inches past the G2.
Yeah.
There's like 13
Okay,
inches
another
past
thing. Okay.
the G2. Yeah,
Okay,
all that little junk
this-
down there is all.
That's just abnormal.
Yeah,
But see,
abnormals.
on his main 4, a main 4 is antlers aficionados, people that know antlers. If you get a 4 side that's 80 inches, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
You don't see them.
yeah,
It's pretty rare.
what is that?
94 and a half.
Oh my.
A 94-inch shed.
If you found that shed laying there, you'd be looking at the world's record 4-point.
So
Nothing close. I mean, the next one's a foot
So
shorter.
are they like the longest? Is that the longest time
That's
ever
the third
recorded?
longest in the world.
Third longest, and that
time in the
measures-
world.
But next to this 3, these are the longest side-by-side tines ever measured.
The longest 2 and 3 ever measured together combined.
Mm-hmm. Side by side.
Side by side.
Those
Okay.
have to be 17 and 18.
Okay, 18. Okay, anyway, it's been remeasured. They say this is 18 instead. It's in the book, it's 17 and 7/8. Okay, that 2 right there, which would qualify as the third longest, unless it's been broken since then. I don't know. I stand corrected if it's not. But these tines here, the 2, the 3, the 2, the 3, okay, those are the longest 4 tines measured, added up, is the highest total ever on 4 tines. I'm not talking Ohio that
Right,
year.
yeah.
I'm talking
now
North
you know why
freaking
that's my
America.
favorite deer.
Yeah.
It's the see that's what I call it. That's why scores, nothing
It doesn't bring perspective
Look,
to what the
look,
deer is.
nothing from Mike's deer. It's
Yeah.
60 inches more on the score sheet.
Yeah, but it
And
doesn't have this.
It just doesn't. And to me, it just looks like a whitetail. That's how I envision a big tail.
Right,
It
yes.
looks like a whitetail. This is amazing deer. It's got the best cluster of brow tines I ever saw, but it's kind of but that looks like a whitetail deer to me. You know what I mean? That's how they should look.
Yeah.
You know, and another thing.
I love that thing.
Yeah, it's just it's
How
crazy.
many replicas are out there, and where are they at?
Brian had 10 made, and he went to the replicator up in Michigan or Minnesota, drove there, dropped the rack off, had him just because I forget the guy's name. I know he's passed away since then, but because he was really good. He really made good rep. Anyway,
What was the guy's name from Iowa?
I can't remember. He was guys from Minnesota at the time, and he drove the antlers up there because you weren't going to ship them.
Yeah.
You gotta, you gotta do that. And so dropped them off and came back a couple more. He had 10. He brought back 8 replicas. He brought back 8 of them, and he picked the first 2, and he gave me the third one, my choice of the rest. Just gave
That's
it to
pretty
me.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's pretty
I
awesome.
mean, this buck has to be like, I'm sure, like in like it's somewhere, right? Like Cabela's or some. It's got to be somewhere.
It
like
is.
that.
There's a replica in, I think a Cabela's. I think a Cabela's has it, but there's been a couple of knockoffs, replicas made off replicas
Yeah.
that aren't as good. But you know,
Is that illegal?
eh,
It's got to be kind of illegal, right?
it kind of is. But unless you,
I mean, it's
unless
not
you-
that. I mean, yeah, you're not going to go after.
yeah, you
anything.
could, but it's just
Yeah.
it's just like that picture at 400 websites posted my photo without my permission. Am I
Right.
going to go after everybody?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
Just like remember Mike Beatty and the then there was the Primos calls and the remember all that.
I did one for
Yeah.
I did
You don't remember that, do you?
I
No.
did
Like Primos came out with.
I did a replica
calls
for
and-
Primos because he had the can thing.
Yeah.
And he was with Primos. I did one for the Mossy Oak headquarters and Primos headquarters.
Yeah.
And then 10, I think Gander Mountain bought 10 other replicas. And at the time they had 70 stores throughout the country. And they went to whatever store they
How
went to.
many replicas do you have in big at one? How many replicas do you have in the big box stores yourself?
Oh, I don't have that many anymore.
You don't think that many? Well, I mean, at one
Anymore.
time over. I mean, do you think there's been 5, 10, 15?
Oh
20,
yeah,
20?
at least that over the yeah.
Your work. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because I had to ship them all out.
How do you get to the like? So you did this and you said 2000. Is that correct?
I took that picture the day I met Mike.
And then then you do the buck, and then you said how many replicas? Did
Well, Mike had that sent out.
Okay.
To be made.
Okay.
And then all the replicas were sent to me. A fantastic Tom Sexton painted
Tom
all
Sexton.
these.
That's
Okay.
fantastic.
And he had the original antlers, and he individually oil painted to match perfectly, and not just a generic paint job. He had to painstakingly,
Yeah.
replicate it so they were all made.
Because the big replicator was different than Tom's. Like somebody would do the casting, and then Tom Sexton would do the painting.
Right, way back in the day.
So Rick, how do you get to that point or doing deer at that? How do they get a hold of you? When did that start? And then because
Well-
how many famous? I wrote down a question. How many famous bucks? Do you think you have personally done?
Well, what's your definition of famous?
I mean,
Mike Beatty and Brian Stevens. This is the best buck.
That's ultra famous in my opinion.
Well, that's ultra famous. But I've done this. I've done the state record a couple times.
Wow.
If that means I've done the muzzle loader state record. We want to hear a real quick one.
Yes.
Real
Yeah.
quick one. Okay, back in 1995, a guy by the name of Doug Rodas. He's muzzle loading hunting in Preble County, Ohio, and during our muzzle loading season, early January. You remember those days?
Yep.
3-day muzzle load
Okay.
season. He's out there hunting, and he's out there just a flintlock, just this old-fashioned muzzle loader thing. He shoots this giant buck. It looks a little thin. Of course, they always look thinner in January. They lost weight and stuff. They're really down. He shoots this big, monstrous deer in Preble County. He goes up to the deer and it's laying there, and it's just gigantic. I got a picture of it at home, but at the time I was doing some articles for Buckmasters, and of course I was a measurer for Buckmasters. And anyway, Doug shoots this deer, and he's trying to manhandle it and get it loaded and get it all set up. And
The antlers pull off.
no, a guy pulls up in a four-wheeler and says, "Oh, awesome deer, man. Let me help you get it out. Let me help you get it out." So they load it up on the four-wheeler. They grab it by the antlers and it pulls off the side. He's sitting there with a shed antler, right? Okay. So they get it loaded and they
Now it don't count.
don't count.
That's
It
right.
doesn't qualify.
Didn't qualify.
I didn't
They're
know.
sheds.
I mean, there's no way of.
Well, let me finish here.
Okay.
So he gets it loaded on the four-wheeler, and they go down, hit a bump, and the other one falls off.
Oh my gosh.
So he's got a giant pair of sheds.
What did that score at that time?
I'll tell you. So I'm writing this story for Buckmasters, and I'm just telling how it is. And the measurements, it's a 223 typical. It's a giant 6x6 mainframe with stickers. Had some stickers. It was a 223 typical. But Boone and Crockett's not going to recognize it now because they're sheds. It's not off the deer. However, Buckmasters, at the time, they weren't measuring the inside spread. And I had to sign off on this. Hey, the deer had them, and we can only estimate the but they didn't count that. They just measured the antler.
Right. Buckmaster didn't do spread.
They didn't do a spread at the time. They just the volume of it, which makes sense. Okay, they had to change that though because of ego of hunters. But anyway, would have been a new world's record muzzleloader by a long way, and it would probably still stand today. Would have been a world's record muzzleloader typical.
223.
It
Whoop.
grossed that. But what's that net? Still
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
But hey, Rick, if you can verify that this is sheds, and we'll still recognize it as a world's record muzzleloader in the irregular category, and they still to this day it stands in Buckmasters. So,
That's unbelievable.
it's crazy. Yeah.
I'm at 8%. Okay, we're probably gonna.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the raculator?
I'm not that familiar with a raculator.
I mean,
What does it?
it's
It's
the rolling.
measurement.
I hear it's good. I've never used one
I
before.
never have either.
I don't see because I can measure a deer pretty quick and, I mean, just
So
measure.
I was telling you about that app or whatever
app,
that
that's-
supposedly you just
That-
with your download the app and you go around the deer and it just boom.
Isn't
Yeah.
that something else too, where
Crazy.
it saves that, and then you can have a replica made in case like your house catches on fire
That's
too,
correct.
or
Listen,
whatever?
listen. I
That's
have
correct.
a friend, and I can't think of his name right. But he made me. He comes in and does that exactly what you're talking about. He comes with his laptop and just does all these things. He makes a replica, and he gives me a perfect replica of the Stevens bucket. It's this big.
Yes, that's a
You-
thing now.
You can hang it from your rearview mirror or whatever.
Yes.
Oop.
So
We're all right, guys. Rick, we got to end here because
Okay.
I'm done. But one of my favorite episodes so far.
Okay.
It really
Yeah,
is.
appreciate it,
I want to have you back. I hope
Good.
you want to come back.
I would like to.
Right.
There's a lot of things
I mean,
Yeah, we
we're
definitely need a part
scratching.
two.
We're
Still
scratching
scratching
the
the
surface.
I definitely
here.
want to talk about the photography and how I approach it, and
Yeah.
I want to improve them because I look at some of these pictures. Not that I am the best. I'm not. I just have
Right.
a way a procedure that I think works,
Yeah.
and I think would be a lot better.
And we never even talked about Richard English.
I mean, I have a whole list of
Who
questions.
Rick introduced into our lives, and he was a big part of both of our lives. So
yeah.
Rick,
There will be a part 2.
Part 2's coming. Part 3 probably too. So, Rick,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Great episode. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, man. I
you.
really enjoyed it.
It was fun.
Really enjoyed it. Yep. We'll
See
do
you
it again.
guys next episode.